Sergeant Host Eric here. Welcome to the Type Police. Try as you might, you just can't hide, 'cause you're mistyped. And I've been waiting to pull you over all night. Type Police, Type Police, please pull that guy over. He says he's INFJ, but seems extroverted, sensing to me. I think he's ESFP or Type Police. Welcome back to Type Police, and as usual, we've got a perp behind the badge. We got a perp. Oh wow, my goodness, look who's here. It's Vice Captain Lapalosa, and she is not too big for her britches, I'll say that. Good afternoon, Captain.
Good afternoon.
Obviously, because she is taking on an active role in even a bike patrol here. You want to keep the streets top safe.
Exactly.
That's our job, right, Captain?
Shit.
Yeah. Anyway, this individual purports to be an INFJ. INFJohnny.
If someone out there is claiming to be a personality type and they are spreading blatant misinformation deliberately, we have an issue, okay? Like, for example, if I was to get on here and say, hey, everybody, I'm INFJohnny. My dominant cognitive function is extroverted intuition. Right? See what I'm saying? Okay? But if you've gone and you've taken the test, you've tested as an INFJ, you've read the description, you've gone to more than one site, okay? You've type verified it, or even a step further, if you've actually paid someone who's MBTI certified to take the test for you, if you feel in your heart and based on what you've read and the knowledge that you've gathered that you're an INFJ, well, let me tell you something, okay? You are. And who am I to say you aren't? That's the...
So, there's a third issue here, Johnny. People who are lying, people who haven't done the legwork and therefore need to do some legwork, and people who are honest. There's also people who are wrong. Well-intentioned, well-meaning, did their legwork, took the test, did the best they could to figure out what type they were. Seems pretty consistent with their type, and yet they're still wrong.
We're better at extroverted feeling than we are introverted thinking, right? But when we open up, when we reveal that extroverted feeling side to us, when we wield that extroverted feeling, here's what happens, okay? There is this polarization in society that takes place when we do this. This is just what I've noticed, all right? Again, bear with me. I'm heading somewhere with this, okay? When we choose to extrovert our feeling, when we choose to get out of our shell, and we choose to come out, and we choose to be our authentic self and open up to people, right? And share our heart with people, there is this polarizing thing that occurs in society around us where it's like we draw this line in the sand where people either love us or they hate us. They love us or they hate us, right? Better to play the gray man, right? Better to just stay in our NITI loop, right? Better to stay introverted, kind of set overly rigid, overly firm boundaries, so that our heart never gets trampled on, right? But then we don't end up having those connections with other people that we crave and that we long to have, to make someone's day, to help them with a problem or an issue or a solution that they're dealing with, to say just the right thing, right? To take them from hopelessness and desperation to inspiration.
What I am seeing is what he wants to present as his affect, namely the videos that he's making. Sometimes people's affects are very revelatory because their affect and their reality is very small distance between them. Sometimes people's affects are very revelatory because you can see the affectation. Sometimes people, whatever. It depends on a variety of circumstances. So let me start by acknowledging, if somebody's an INFJ, it's important to remember that the interface knowledge functions really need each other to express it all. So in other words, Rachel's introverted intuition being a receiving function is going to be defined by the throwing part. In other words, if she's constantly being thrown baseballs, she's going to be a baseball catcher. If she's constantly being thrown footballs, she's going to be a receiver. The thing is, as a consequence, when we look to try to establish NI, what we're really looking for is examples of what output function is shaped by that NI. Not really the NI itself, which is always behind the scenes, kind of.
The greatest strength of the INFJ, in my opinion, is the INFJ's ability to read people, to understand people, without a lot of conscious thought required. Yes, we can use that introverted thinking to look at rational connections to what we are discovering about this person. Obviously, we're using extroverted sensing because we are observing this person in real time in our environment. But when you combine introverted intuition with extroverted feeling, what you have is an almost clairvoyant understanding of what is going on with this person, what they're feeling, where they're at in their life. We have an ability to read people. I don't know about you, but I literally absorb the emotions of other people around me. I require tremendous amounts of time alone because it's exhausting for me to be out and about and to be walking, say I'm in a grocery store and I'm walking down the aisle and I'm angry because this guy that just walked by me is angry. And the next thing I know, I'm happy because I see a family together and they're enjoying their lives. You know, they're laughing and joking together. Now I'm happy. And then I go and I see a lady that maybe she just lost her job or something happened and she's sad and she's depressed and I feel sad. And this is what it is like for me every day. And the only way that I'm able to manage it is to set really firm boundaries. But when I'm out and about, when I'm interacting with other people, I have a difficult time identifying what emotions or feelings are my own. But I can tell right away what's going on with other people. Now, is it subjective? Well, introverted intuition is a subjective function. So yeah, it is, but we're right. How many times have you just known what was going on with someone? We just know. How do we know? I don't know how we know. We just know. So of all of the different strengths of the INFJ, I think that the INFJ's ability to read people is their greatest strength. I'll add to that and I'll say, reading people for the sake of reading people is really just, it's kind of pointless. What's the whole point of being able to read someone? With great power comes great responsibility. And so you can use this gift that you have, this strength that you have, to either heal or to harm. INFJs help humanity process deep emotions. We help to heal people who are struggling with a variety of different emotions and feelings, different issues in their lives. And we can use this great gift. It's a wonderful gift. We can use this gift for good or for bad. And so my advice is use it for the good. Use it to help.
I understand a lot better now the significance of what I'm about to do. His name is INFJohnny, so he's branded his channel around this concept. He's made a lot of videos so far about this concept, about him being INFJ. He's additionally played prevent defense as to regarding setting up his own metric for justified critique. Namely, he said, if a person's being honest and did the legwork, then they're the type they are. And you shouldn't challenge their ontology in that fashion carelessly. And I agree with that. It's taken me a long time to come to agree with that. And it's an indication sometimes that, in fact, one of the problems with the benefactor-beneficiary relationship is it tends to be that the benefactor doesn't respect the beneficiary. But the fact is, the beneficiary has a lot to offer. And they have an awareness of levels of complexity of issues that the benefactor type that wildly underpays attention to in some sense, and it takes a lot of growth on the benefactor's type to start to recognize the value of the beneficiary and their variety of deftness. So what I like to say about this guy is he's very deftly managed this issue. He's tried to play the prevent defense, which suggests front slot TI, and he's tried to limit the scope of his claims so that he's not going to be subject to too much TI nitpicking, and he falls within the general range of things that might be typed as INFJ, so just let him be an INFJ, right? Here's the thing. He's not an INFJ. He's an ENFJ. Well, before we get really into our justifications, let me just read you your rights. You are going to type jail, and once we get back to the station, we will explain to you exactly why. It's going to just take a split second to drive there. We're home. Okay, we're at the Coventry Police Department, as you can see, where this is the jail we use for type jail, but we also get to use their conference rooms. So, what Vice Captain Lapalosa and I are going to do right now is sit down and explain to you exactly why we've chosen to arrest you today for type crime. First of all, we do understand what you're saying there in that video.
Yes, we do.
It is not your fault that you are mistyped.
No, it is not.
You went out, you took a test, you got it, result INFJ. You probably read a lot of a lot of type descriptions and stuff, and you didn't see a whole hell of a lot of stuff that was inconsistent with INFJ. Additionally, you mentioned in your video that you need to spend a lot of time alone, right? And that would be consistent with an INFJ. It's also the case that you have your dominant two functions right. In other words, your first two functions are in fact FE and NI.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in the right quadra. Not only are you in the right quadra, you've got the right, you're also in the right group of meta-analysts. So in other words, INFJs are in beta quadra, but they're also meta-analysts. Well, you're in beta quadra and you're also a meta-analyst. So you're really close. But you're actually an ENFJ, not an INFJ. Now, I can't prove this, which is why, typically in Type Police videos, I've historically just had fun with them, been a dick and stuff. But what you're saying in your videos there about it being a matter of significance to allow people to make their ontological claims, and if they make a mistake and think that what's an arbitrary conclusion it turns out to be a non-arbitrary conclusion, I get it. It's a natural mistake to make.
Yes.
I typed my own INFJ girlfriend as ENFJ at first.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible that your extroverted affect has caused me to do the same thing with you. Nevertheless, I think Rachel and I both agree that our instinct is that you're an ENFJ.
Correct.
Rachel, I wonder if you could offer any thoughts as to what's behind your reasoning for that.
He explains a lot. INFJs are more precise in their speaking. They don't generally backtrack. Okay, sometimes they do.
As you just did.
As I just did. But, okay, maybe we do that more than he did, actually. But, he talks a lot about goals and success, and I think INFJs kind of float around in Wonderland when it comes to that.
My basic read on the situation is he has the value stack of an ENFJ. So in that last video we saw when he talked about helping people and so forth, that's an FE DOM with an absolute value of FE, displaying how important it is to use introverted intuition as a tool function. Yeah. That's basically what that video says. And then if you look at his channel, he's got a pretty steady production of videos and pretty high energy level.
Yes.
And doesn't appear to have a whole lot of neuroticism. So all of those things also suggest that he's ENFJ, because that's consistent with third slot SE. Now, note, again, the last thing I want to do is, this is very different than Marty, okay? Marty was somebody who also claimed to be an INFJ. I mean, they're all over the place, right? Very few INFJs that I type police are actually INFJs. But you're fundamentally blameless in this matter. You made a very easy mistake to make, an honest mistake, and a mistake that the lack of clarity regarding what the correct interpretation of cognitive functions is in the community is bound to engender. One reason why I believe you're not an ENFJ as well is no specific examples. So even your specific examples are hypothetical specifics. They're not actually specifics. I didn't hear a single specific example from you about anything. Now, I might go quite a long time in a conversation without hearing Rachel give a specific example either, especially if she were making a video. She's less likely to reference her own experiences. So that's not absolutely inconsistent with what I saw with you. And that's why at the end of this Type Police episode, I am going to offer you for free, if you want, under the terms of people who pay, which means whether you want to publish it or not, I will offer you a free typing session. I'm the best typologist on the internet, and in the world, frankly. I'm the only one who truly understands it correctly. I'm not the only one who truly understands it correctly. I'm the only typologist actively being a typologist who truly understands it correctly. Because there's been a lot of people who've done a lot of time listening to what I'm saying and have basically adopted the same fundamental framework. And what I mean by I'm the only one who's doing it properly is I'm recognizing where we can be precise and where we can't be precise, what comprises a metaphor, what comprises actual data, what comprises, I'm a debate coach. I'm a professional debate coach, so it only makes sense that I'd make the best possible case as to what the correct understanding of cognitive functions is. Yeah. Regardless, it is possible I am wrong here to have you in type jail. You're going to have to stay the weekend, but, as soon as you get your... if you want to take advantage of the free typing section, that's your judicial hearing. You can do it in any way you want, which means you can do it in private, where I don't record it at all. We can do it in private, where I record it and share it with you only. We can do it in private, where I record it for the purpose of uploading it publicly, or we could do it as a live stream. Whatever you want. If you want to take advantage of that, it's available to you. But nevertheless, I cannot tell a lie. My professional opinion is currently that you are giving enough signs of being an ENFJ that I'm going to have to throw you in the slammer until the judge can hear your case.
Yes, you are not an INFJ.
Tentatively. But yeah, for the that if you want to explain to your mom why you're in jail, that's the answer. I'm not an INFJ.
Try as you might, you just can't hide, 'cause you're mistyped. And I've been waiting to pull you over all night. Type police, type police, please pull that guy over. He says he's INTP, but seems extroverted, sensing to me. I think he's ESFP or type police.
Well, friends, that's going to bring us to the close of Type Police, and just in the nick of time, because
I gotta run. Just gotta call. Gotta go get him.
fake INTP apparently down the street.